Robert Breedlove, shout out to Robert, has taught me so much over the years with his research and work. He wrote an article called "The Importance of the Number Zero" or something like that, or Bitcoin is as big as number zero. And basically, there existed a time in mathematics where the common wisdom, they were still using fractions. They hadn't understood decimals, and so you couldn't go, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then go, actually, hang on, we're going to go back into a minus number. They hadn't figured out the use of zero in arithmetic. And you just think about how difficult that would be to calculate anything. And that was a massive moment in the common wisdom. And I say maybe there was outliers that understood how to use zero, or certain societies somewhere, but most people globally were trading without the ability to understand zero. And Bitcoin is as big a deal as that moment, right? And the second moment I want to bring to life would be that this is like basically how the Medici families in Florence got going in the Renaissance 500-600 years ago, was double entry bookkeeping. And if you've ever been to Florence, there's a bridge where the moneylenders like famously sat in these little booths, and basically the debit and credit column, like very simple accounting process, those weren't used before, basically. And so I could come to a friend of mine who was running his basically a form of bank, and that's how banking began to some degree, or what we think of banking today. And I could deposit my gold or deposit my coins, and then actually I wanted to trade with someone else, and it's easy just to tell the bank to transfer the money to them rather than the bank, rather than physically doing that transaction. And so the ability to do double entry bookkeeping became popular, and obviously was like pouring gasoline on an existing fire in terms of modern trade. And the Renaissance was backed by a form of sound money, which is again a phrase from the Austrian School of Economics that I recommend looking into. Bitcoin is what's called triple entry bookkeeping, in that it's a credit and debit column, but instead of trusting the banker to keep those credit and debit columns in line and correct, the Bitcoin blockchain is an open and public ledger. So think about the banker sitting on the bridge in Florence, and he's got this big book, and he's putting in his credits and debits, and he's got all these different customers, and he's matching them together. It's like that big book is the Bitcoin blockchain, and it's digitally native and censorship resistant. We haven't talked about that yet. It's very, 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 very hard to change Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin itself hasn't changed from the way it was designed, predominantly in that there's been a couple of tweaks to the code with some updates that are all what's called consensus agreed. Basically, this is a massive, massive topic, and has consumed so much of my energy the last 5 to 6 years, like figuring this out. So what is Bitcoin? I mean, I could keep going for ages. What I'm going to try and do is finish off this question here by just summarizing where we got through, right? So what is Bitcoin? Well, it's just money. Okay, well, what is money? And then you can look through that. And then it's like, well, what is cash? Okay, well, cash is a different type of money. And then it's a triple entry bookkeeping system that's basically impossible to change. And so is this as big a deal as fire? Yes. Is this as big a deal as the internet itself? Yes. And is this as big as, the wheel or the car? Yes. Absolutely massive deal.